is that when we decide to take the road to excellence, now you have to decide whether or not you want to be good or not, because it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. But if you decide to take that road to excellence, every time you go on a shoot, you are committed to learn something new, to bring your vision into it. And you, along the way, you don't know what's going to pop in front of you, and you're going to have to manage those roadblocks and overcome them. And despite those roadblocks, you are going to still have to be able to create your vision, your art. No excuses. Do you want to do it or you're not? It's up to you, and it's going to take everything from you. But definitely, I know you can do it because this Asian college dropout did it, so I know you guys can do it too. So anyways, let's see, are we queued up? 10 steps to remarkable, tools for extraordinary success. And the way this lecture was derived was, I thought in my mind, I go, what are the 10 things that people need to know about getting to the next level? What are those most important things that they need to know technically, but what are those most important things that they need to know in regards to life principles on getting to the next level? But I think it's a little bit personal. It's what I needed to get to that next level. So we're ready to go here. What's the real deal with earning money with photography? Okay, we want to use photography as a tool to kind of launch our career so we could provide for ourselves or provide for our family and give us a life where we can actually live comfortably and also pursue our art. I mean, what better life than that, right? So I think this is a very common scenario. There's this stuff, the stuff we shoot that pays the bills, okay? And on the other end of that is the stuff that we shoot that we love. And in the beginning, I think they're somewhat separated. We're so excited about photography, maybe we do some sort of event or we do some sort of birthday party and we're just so happy to be hired that we do it and we still love it. But then maybe after a year or two or something, it's like, it's okay. I'll do it. It's for the money, but I'll do it. It still beats working at somewhere else, Starbucks or something like that. What? No, hey, if you work at Starbucks, nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying something else, okay? And then there's stuff that we love, stuff that moves us, stuff that we have a passion about. And then, fortunately, there's always stuff that does both, that pays the bills and what we love. But what I always tried to do, and I still do, is I blend the two, where I could earn a living and only do the stuff that I truly love. And that's what we really, really, really want to do. And that takes a lot of growth, a lot of learning, but I think this is the end goal. And so we have to, in the beginning, we have to do this stuff. Okay? And as artists, I think we get a little bit uppity. Oh, man, no, I don't shoot that stuff. Not anymore. I'm an artist, man. Family stuff, no, not for me. You can do it, but hey. Okay? And, but we got to do it. You got to pay the bills. Okay? And we can't be uppity about that. Every job that we get, it's like gold. It's like precious silver. We need it because we have to survive. We have to provide for ourselves. We have to provide for our family. And then, so there's always that stuff that we got to do. We can't get lazy about that. And then eventually we work it into what we love. And I'm going to kind of teach you on how I did this. I blended the two. And so in photography, and when you go to college, per se, a lot of colleges, they really focus on fine art photography and photojournalism. But guess what? It's really, really, really hard to make money if you're going to be a fine art photographer or a photojournalist. It's extremely hard. If you want to make money, the highest chance of making money is shooting people and like what we talked about before, making them beautiful. And those are what? Weddings, portraits, fashion, family, seniors, and things of that. That's where you have the highest chance of earning a living, right here. Okay, and so these steps that I'm going to be talking about, I'm mostly going to be focusing on this type of photography. I'm going to back up a little bit. What happens if you actually do like fine art photography, though? That's really your passion. Well, I think what the goal was is you still got to shoot the stuff that earns you a living, but don't give up that fine art. Of course not. Do the stuff that pays the bills, but just realize that that's keeping the dream of fine art alive. Okay? And so when you're doing that job that you don't necessarily like doing, just say, hey, this is keeping my other dream alive, and this is why I got to do this. And eventually, when you keep trying and keep pursuing and learning, that eventually it might earn you a living. But you got to give yourself a chance. Okay, number one rule, choose education over equipment. Learn first, buy later. I'll give an example. I used to play the guitar, so maybe why I talk about guitar is, suppose I'm playing a song and I'm using a $1,000 guitar, okay? Then I go to the next song and I pick up this other guitar and it happens to be $2,000. Is it going to make me any better? Not really. It might look fancier, might look cooler, but in reality, it's not going to make me better. Entry-level DSLRs are light years ahead of cameras 5 years ago. A lot of the imagery that I took, that you see on these walls, they were taken with cameras like, Canon Mark I. How much can you get a Canon 5D Mark I right now for? $600? Right? I mean, you're getting Mark IIs for around $1,000. So, and a lot of that stuff that you saw, was with the Mark I. If I used the Mark III, would that photo be even better? I don't think so. The tragic error when striving to be a great photographer is investing more into equipment than into quality education. Don't get tricked. Don't be fooled into keeping up with the Joneses. We feel a little bit embarrassed going to a gig and, I don't have the next L lens. I'm not that good. Never feel that way. Because I'm going to ask you, what creates a great image? You ask this question all the time, and I'll ask it to you. Does the camera make the photographer, or is the photographer's skill? Is that what makes a good image? What do you guys say? Skill. Of course, without a doubt, we always say that. Okay? Add up all your camera equipment, how much it cost you. Add it all up in your head. Have you ever equaled that in the amount of education spent on photography? And I think for a lot of people, it's a vast difference, but we don't realize that really that equipment is not really it doesn't affect the imagery. It's the knowledge. You saw it out there. The knowledge of light. I was using a $200 lens out there, okay? The knowledge of light and a less than a $59 ND filter, right, to do some of that out. This is the knowledge of light, the knowledge of posing. That's the most important thing. And don't really worry about equipment. Now, I won this award with this photo, but I used a $90 50 millimeter 1.8 lens and a flashlight to create it. It's my understanding of light. You don't need it. And I got to tell you this story of Marie Lisa right here. She was my student. These are both of my students. I posed them. This was her very first workshop. Everybody's, at that time, everybody had 5Ds and L lenses and all that. Everybody's running around with that. And she came and she felt a little bit embarrassed because she had a Rebel XT. And she felt a little bit like a second-class citizen. And, you know, we're trying to tell, Lisa, it doesn't matter what camera that you have. Just forget about that, man. Just go and do your work. And, man, I'm telling you, I gave her a few tools just like this week on how to see light and how to pose. And, man, she just took it because inside she was an artist. And with that Rebel, she was the fastest student that I've ever taught or mentored in my entire life that made it at a world-class level between 6 to 8 months after her first workshop with me. She came to me after that end of that first workshop. I clearly remember. It was in Paris. We had a great dinner. It was the last day. We were on the bus ride. We were tired. It's about 10 o'clock. She comes up to me and she pulls on my arm. She goes, "This cannot stop. I want this life." And then a few months later, she quit her high-paying job and she went full into it with a Rebel XT. And she made it. And now she lives in Montreal, and she just sent me this email, and she's been winning these national awards, Photographer of the Year, and she just recently won this award, but it's in French, and I have no idea what it says, but I'm sure it's something about great photographer. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then her dream came true, and then I see this other picture, and she met Oprah Winfrey, and she's there with Oprah Winfrey. And it's because of photography took her there. Her little Rebel XT paved the way for her. So that was a great lesson to me about just equipment and what you can do. And it was just an amazing story. But you can go look at her work. She's really an amazing person. Okay, if you spend $10,000 to $20,000 on equipment, don't be afraid to spend that amount on quality education. Let me ask you, do you guys know what the average cost of college is? It's $150,000, and it's 5 years of your life. Okay? That's what it takes to get a bachelor's degree, average. Okay? How much are we willing to spend on photography? And this gets me really upset as an educator. Do not treat photography as a second-class career. I'm pissed off at this when I think about this. It's because, look at, if you wanted to be an accountant, if you wanted to be, let's say, a dentist, what would it cost you? 8 years of your life, an average of $500,000. And yet, we kind of hem and haw about a $99 download. And we treat like, well, shoot, man. We invest so much in every single other industry. We invest a whole lot more, but we're not willing to invest that time and that effort and those resources for photography. If we did that, we would be a lot better off. And please don't treat photography as second class. Because you know why? Being a professional photographer is one of the hardest things to do in life. And I'll prove that to you. How many doctors, lawyers, CPAs do you know? I'm sure you know a lot, and I think there's some in this room, actually. But really, when it comes down to it, how many full-time photographers are there that are self-sufficient, that can provide for themselves or provide for their family? Very, very few compared to the doctors and the lawyers. And in our society, we think that, wow, it's so hard to be a doctor. It's so hard to be a lawyer. Well, becoming a professional photographer is even harder. It's a rarity if you actually make it. And yet we treat it like a second-class career, that we don't give it the justice like we give these other careers. Don't do it. Please don't disrespect our industry. Conclusions. Feed your soul and mind good information and expect exponential growth with practice. You got to practice, practice, practice. And when you get that good information, you're going to grow exponentially. But you need the tool. You just can't have the information. You've got to pair it with practice. And together, that's when you're going to grow. And get the equipment that completes your vision, nothing more or nothing less. So if your vision is to shoot commercial and to have that high fashion, high dynamic range shots using, lighting equipment, get that lighting equipment. I don't care if you have to go into debt getting it. Get it. Or if your vision is shooting wide angle shots and you need that 16 to 35 lens, get it. Do whatever it takes to get it. Why? Because if you can't complete your vision, you are nothing. If you can't complete your vision, you're not going to separate yourself from the masses. So get the stuff that completes your vision and don't think about it. Whatever it is, it could be a course. It could be like, you want to learn baby photography, right? Hey, found this on Creative Live, download it. I don't know, download 100 things if it's going to work for you. How much did you spend on college? Right? So, if you lack vision, you need more good information. You need to fill your mind with things that inspire you. It could be learning about light. It could be going to Europe. I also find that a person is inspired by taking them out of their normal environment and showing them different kinds of beauty that they've never seen before. And that's why people love travel. And people fall in love with people of different cultures and different lands because it's a different type of beauty, and that inspires us. And we see that difference, and then we blend it into our life, and it makes us unique. So enrich yourself. If you want to travel, travel. Life is short, man. I'm 50 years old already. And it's like, man, I might only have 20, 30 years left. It's almost over, man. Time really flies. If there's a will, there's a way. Go for it. Do it. Don't stop yourself. 2, choose remarkable over good. Begin your journey of excellence. Just being good is average nowadays because of technology. You can't be just good. You know why? Because most clients can't tell between poor, fair, and good. They really can't. You might know that you're a little bit better than your competition, but when an average client who's not trained to look at art sees it, they're going to clump you together. And then who's going to get the job? Person with the lower price. I find, it's kind of interesting. Some people kind of put my work, up here, right? But when I talk to clients, it's like, you know what? Your work is pretty good. No, really, that's what they say to me, Like when I'm thinking, like, oh, wow, did you know I won all these awards or whatever? And a lot of people just like, oh, yeah, you know what? Your stuff is a little bit different. Yeah, I like it, But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, man, I'm way up here. Yeah, people are up here, but not really. So that's what I found. I found if I wanted to create a mark, I literally had to be, wow, this much better than average just to get me that much gain in an average client. Because they can't tell the difference. You got to be so much better. Most likely your imagery looks very similar to everybody else's. And I don't mean to put anybody down or anything, but I'm just going to tell it straight like it is. I review a lot of portfolio work, and it's like stuff pretty much looks the same, just like everybody else's stuff. So be different. To be a successful photographer, aim to be better than 98 out of 100 photographers. You got to be that 2%. That 2% that's different. So if you're in a room with 100 photographers, you can say, you know what, I'm going to kick butt over 98 other photographers in this room. Go to WPPA, walk around. You see thousands of photographers there. You got to realize that, man, I got to be better than 98% of these people here. Now, if you want to get to world class and do that, I estimate it's about 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 2,000. That's a totally, completely different level. And you got to be committed to that. It's tough. Okay, let's say this. Well, shoot, I want to be a world-class photographer, but I'm not there yet. So how do I get remarkable imagery, Scott, that you're talking about? I'm going to give you 2 clues on how to do this with the level that you're at right now. 1, you've got to style your sessions. Now, I didn't take this picture. This is one of those first place awards by our friends, Jezza. Right? I'm so proud of them. They're going to be coming tonight, so you get to meet them. But look, you know what? They made a mark in the industry. You know why? Because Sabrina brought a new definition to photography. She brought styling to the max because she was a style fanatic. You should go to her house. You see how many magazines she has stacked up because she has a passion for fashion and for glamour, and she loves it. She combined it with her work and made her unique. And so look at this photo. Everything about it is styled perfectly. The trouble to get the magazine, everything. They rented that plane so they can shoot in it because that was their vision. And you style your sessions, you're literally making people look beautiful by what they wear. You're maximizing the beauty factor. So that's one way you can do it, is to style your sessions. Storyboard it out. Think about it. Just don't go there and shoot it, but create a story with style, substance. Shoot in exotic locations. People are attracted to exotic places and beauty from around the world. That's why they have the Travel Channel. Right? Don't we love looking at that Travel Channel? We are attracted. I think, you know what? I haven't met one photographer that has told me I hate to travel. I think if you're a photographer, it's just in us. We need to see exotic beauty from around the world. We are addicted to beauty and we want to see it, and the world is so huge, so vast. There's so many different beautiful types of things, and we can't wait to get on a plane and go see it, experience it, right? Show the world that beauty. If you build it, they come, okay? If you want to be a destination wedding photographer, you got to have weddings that are done at different, if you live in San Francisco, you got to have weddings that are done not here. That's why I hold workshops all over the world, is so that my students could have that exotic imagery around the world so they can get hired around the world. And I remember doing these workshops, and during the week, as they would blog that they're here in Paris or they're here in Italy, someone would yell, "Hey, I just got a wedding in somewhere," because they knew that that person was traveling. So how a client thinks is, oh, okay, I'm doing a wedding in Venice. Well, what? They're going to choose a photographer that's been to Venice. Are they going to choose a photographer that all they do is see, imagery from Monrovia, California, where I'm from? No. They want to have proof that you can travel and that you can shoot in different locations, and that's what they're going to hire. So, build imagery that helps me create a unique portfolio is these exotic images from around the world, and they post on my website, and my client goes, "Man, I want to be there. I want that." What am I doing? I'm creating a dream. They see this couple online, and they go, "I want to do that." Then they consult with me, and I say, "Guess what? You deserve it. You need to do that." And they do it, but you've got to show it. If you don't show you can do it, no one's going to hire you to do it. So, I started showing pictures while I was in New York, and I talked about this image in Times Square, and then boom, all of a sudden, somebody from New York hires me. Coincidence? I don't think so. Show images of Paris, right? I've got that in there in my portfolio. Oh, wow, I get a wedding in Paris. What do you know? Think that's coincidence? I show all these different locations that I do in all this photography, and I get a wedding in Korea. I get one in Canada. I was in Canada shooting, and all of a sudden, I get hired to do a wedding in Canada. Do you think that's coincidence? Not really. If you build it, it will come. Field of Dreams. If you build it, but you gotta build it. You gotta have faith in yourself. You gotta have the resources and say, I'm gonna do this. Hawaii, right? You've seen these. These are some of these photos that are around. Oh, hello, wedding in Hawaii. Same location as where I shot that girl. Ooh, what do you know? Build your portfolio with remarkable imagery. Have someone give you an honest assessment of your work. Not your mom, not people on Facebook, but a professional. Somebody who'll be honest with you, and I know there's plenty of photographers on Creative Live that are world class that can tell you too. And you got to get an assessment. You got to face the music, whether it's good or bad. Can't hide behind it. 3, we already talked about this. I feel like you have to know how to find dramatic light, which we did today, which is reactive photography, finding things. 4, we need to create dramatic light. You need to find it, and then you'll be able to create it. And hopefully we did both of those things today. Look at this session. This was shot at 11 p.m. at night, but my vision was, okay, geez, we've had sex all night, and now we're resting, and it's morning time. And so that's what I'm thinking. But really, it looked like this. It was just a room at 11, a hotel room. And so what did I do? I took a flash with a gel and I fired it through these shutters here to give me a pattern on the wall using an orange gel, and I used like 4 different flashes on different people and different areas to give me that feel, creating a story. Got to learn how to create that dramatic light. Sandwich techniques, which we talk about. Okay, 5, create glamorous and or fashion-forward images. You've got to learn how to create these glamorous shots. And there's a reason for this. Who buys photography? Did you know that 90% of the prints are purchased by women? 90%. That's true in my household. My wife buys all the prints. I don't like family. I got it in the computer. What's up? It's there. No. We need these printed. You got to edit these. Oh, okay. She goes and she makes the effort to get them printed. Not me. My wife does. Our target customers then are women. If you can make women look good, you can stay in business forever. Just ask Sue Bryce what she thinks about this. You have glamorous pictures of women on your website and blah, blah, blah. You've seen these all week. We're bored of them. So we're going to be moving forward. Making women look beautiful. It's an art form. Pay attention to it. Do what it takes. I'm going to show you some images of Marianne, okay? This is a wedding I did, and some of the basic things that we learned around and basic portraiture. I want you to take a look at these images. You're going to probably think, okay, yeah, they're solid. They're decent images. She's got a pretty face, using the light, from the natural light, the rollover, going in tight, going in back, okay, looking away, adding a little video light, a nice portrait, nice smile. But guess what? These images of Mary Ann, she was 7.5 months pregnant. It's because I knew the art of portraiture that I could bring out her beauty. Basic things. Do you know how to maximize beauty? Do you want to go back and look at those images again? You're curious, right? Where did I put the bouquet? She had really sexy legs, so I focused on that. If you would have saw her stand up, she was just like that. I mean, there's no doubt she was pretty. You can kind of see it there, but I told her to pull the skirt up. Okay? That's just basic portraiture. It can take you far. It can tell you how to maximize the beauty of people. The art of portraiture is maximizing and enhancing the beauty of an individual. The more you make people look good, the more good in your wallet. That's plain and simple. Strive for that. Look at your images. What is the beauty content in your images? That's going to get you hired. Look at it, review it, have an expert look at it. 6, you got to create a grand vision for your life. You got to have a goal. And what I say, a man without a dream is like a big, tall glass of spilt milk. What do you think I mean when I say that? What do you think I mean when I say a man without a dream is like a big, tall glass of spilt milk? I want you to answer. Do you have any ideas of what I meant by saying this?
Well, you're just kind of all over the place. You're like a big mess. No direction.
No direction, no focus. Yes.
It's like you have all this potential to be something, but
Yes.
then you just let it go, you know? Like it's never gonna come to pass. It's never gonna become a reality.
Exactly.
You know, because you don't have that goal. You don't have a plan to make it
You're
happen.
going to waste your potential.
Yeah.
Don't we all say that? Don't we all say, man, that person is talented only if.
Yeah.
Well, don't be the only if, because I see it all in you, is that you're all very, very talented. Don't spill your milk. And what you got to do is you got to have a dream that maximizes human achievement. And I get a little bit emotional right now because I think about my dream. And I think about when I know this exact situation. I was sitting down on the pot, doing my business, thinking about life, and I was about 17 or 18 years old. And I stood up and I yelled out of the bathroom to my mom, and I said, I think I want to be a motivational speaker when I grow up. And I want to motivate thousands one day. Well, scroll down, 32 years later? I had a CEO come up to me and say, Scott, man, your numbers are awesome. We're hitting the 30,000 mark. Wow. It took me freaking 50 years, but I did it. And I read my Facebook clients and my Facebook comments, and they say, Scott, you know what? You're a pretty good photographer, but you know what? You're really an awesome motivator. You are inspiring. I mean, almost every single comment said that. I go, wow, I did it. That's what I wanted to do in life, is to help people, to motivate people. Man, it took me freaking 32 years. But it maximized my potential. It stretched me. It took me through those valleys when life was rough, when I could only make $10,000 a year. Not after 1 year, not after 2 years, not after 3 years, not after 4 years, not after 5 years, 12 years. I could only make $10,000. My wife had to support me through all those years. And then when I gave up that dream and said, no, I didn't quite give it up, but I said, I got to reset my life here. And I said, honey, but you gave me 12 years and you suffered through it. I want to give you your dream now. Well, your dream is to start a family. Let's do that. And I don't care if I have to take 3 jobs, McDonald's, Home Depot, and Starbucks, whatever. I'll just do it. We had figured at that time if we had about $30,000 or $40,000 a year, we could just barely make it. And I was committed to do that. And I gave back and I said, I want to give to you now. And then in turn, I had to find a part-time job. What did I find? Wedding photography. And then everything came back to me overwhelmingly when I decided to help somebody else. And so when I find that I want to help somebody else, everything comes back to me. Everything and even more. And so that's why I'm just hooked on giving. It's a drug to me now. I just want to help people because it feels so good for them to achieve some of those things that I have and getting them to the next level. So the only thing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful is a goal. Have a goal. What is your goal? You know what? Some people don't even have goals. Why? Why is that? You guys know? Yes.
Scared to not get to them.
Yes. Because we're afraid to commit to that goal, because we're afraid to be accountable to a goal, because we don't want to seem like a failure. So we never set them. Be fearless. You say, I've got this goal, I'm putting it out there, and you're keeping me accountable, and I'm going for it. There are always those with way less resources accomplishing way more than we thought possible. Isn't that true? I don't care where you are in life, there is somebody with less resources than you doing a heck of a lot more than you. And for example, there's the story of Nick Vujicic. And what happened with him was Nick was born with no arms and legs. What did he do? He started making YouTube videos of him going out and surfing, swimming, playing soccer, playing golf, doing everything a normal person would. It would not stop him. He got millions and millions of hits around the world, and now he is an international speaker to 44 countries. And the reason why I know about him, he was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. We have, what does this tell us? We have no excuses. There are no excuses. It's all on us. Don't look around the room. If we want to make it, it's here. Because there's been people way less fortunate than us doing amazing things. So your dream, the way we talked about this a little bit earlier, is that it's a gift from God, your dream. That little dream that I had sitting on the toilet, thinking that one day I wanted to be a motivational speaker, was my gift. It was my guiding light, because if I didn't feel that, I wouldn't have gone through all those years of hardship. I wouldn't have settled for a regular job, because inside I said, there's something more for me. I am destined for something else. I am destined for excellence. I'm destined for greatness. I know nobody sees it in me right now, but I feel it, and I know some of you out there feel that too. So please do not give it up, because the world's going to try so hard to take it away from you like it did to me. But if you keep hanging on to it, I guarantee you're going to find it. It may take you 32 years, but you're going to get there if you don't give up with it, because it is your guiding light. That dream is telling you what you're supposed to be, but the world would deceive you into believing you're not good enough. You're not rich enough. You can't go on that workshop. You don't have enough money. You're too young. You're not pretty enough. You're not smart. You're not Asian. What do you think? You're not free enough. Oh, no, I got this. I got my cats, and I got this, and I got, no way. I can't do that. I'm not social enough. I just don't know how to talk to people. I'm not brave enough. You'll be surprised how far you will go if you just vision map your life. What I mean by that is you set a dream really high. You set a dream so high that if you accomplish it, that you actually start to cry and get emotional. That's how big of a dream that you want, that big. And then you say, what is that dream? And then you map it out. Okay, what has to happen? Just don't have that dream. But you have to say, what has to happen in order for me to accomplish that dream? What do I have to do by next year? What has to happen? And then you think it out from a monthly basis. You go at a yearly basis, and then you think it at a monthly place. Okay, every month, what has to happen? Okay, every week, what has to happen? And then every day, what has to happen? And you follow that, and you map it out, and guess what? It becomes true. But you have to map it out. And you have to have it in front of you, and you have to look at it every single day. And that's what I learned by this book, Mentored by a Millionaire. I didn't even buy that book because I'm cheap. I just got it at the library. It's free. Go get it. It's right there. 7, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. The secret combo for success always changes. Okay? It always changes. Everything changes. That's what I felt about wedding photography. It's like, oh my gosh, every couple of years the styles are changing and this, and now everybody's shooting with the 85 1.2 lens, and oh no, wait, now we're getting into flash. Oh my gosh, I can't keep up. Right? It gets exhausting sometimes. But you know what? We need to do that. A lot of times we need to hit the reset button and try something new and reinvent ourselves. Learn the basics, but continually build and innovate on them. Don't be satisfied with just copying the recent trend. Be the recent trend. And that has to happen by learning the fundamentals like we just learned in this class, and then bringing your slant to the story, the way you see life. And that separates you and makes you unique. Run to the hard stuff. Okay? When something is hard, maybe it's lighting, maybe it's posing, run to that and say, I am going to conquer that. I remember being in the wedding business, and every year I used to sit back and think, what's very difficult for me to accomplish? What do I don't like? And the one thing that stuck out, what was really, really hard for me, was taking a picture of the bride. You're going to totally laugh when I say that. But that, I was shying away from that. Why? Because I had some baggage there. And my baggage was being Asian, short Asian male, and the way culturally, the way America looks at Asian males is not very favorable. For example, you will never see any Asian male being a leading role in every movie, any leading romantic hero. You will always see the Asian guy as the nerdy guy, the tech guy, the Mr. Hangover Chow guy, which I look like. It's just fine. You know, like, people think I'm Mr. Chow and they start being nice to me. Well, that's cool. I'll take it, right? But just growing up with that, I didn't feel that I was beautiful. So how could I photograph somebody that was beautiful, especially if they weren't Asian and taller than me? And I had this baggage there. And I was afraid of it. And I had to realize that that was a complete lie. Until I could just wipe that away and claim it and do it, I realized that my biggest fear was actually my biggest joy, and it was actually my giftedness. And look at my website. All they are is beautiful women. And I realized that that's really what I loved shooting. but I had that baggage there. Everybody has baggage. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you, if you take the road to being a world-class photographer, you're going to find out quite quickly what it is, because you're going to reach a point and it's going to stop. And you're not going to be very excited about your work. And then you say, I've taken every class in the world. I know everything about lighting. I know everything about posing. I know everything. But then it's just stopped there. I can't get it. It's because there's something inside personal, not letting it out. We will discover it. I guarantee you, you will discover it. Most of us are one skill away from doubling our income. If you think about it, and that's true for me. And these are the skills that really help me really get to my level. If you want to talk about me going from a $1,000 photographer to a $10,000 photographer, here are some of the things that I had to learn. One is that I had to learn how to find natural light. I didn't even know how to do that. So I did that, and then I got into learning how to pose, fashion posing. And then after that, I learned how to creatively post-process. And I actually won a Kodak award for my work in post-processing. And then what? I learned how to master the manual flash. And that took me to another level. And then I had to learn how to be a manufacturer and had come out with my own product and design them. Continually changing, adding skills, keeping me in the game so I could have this career. Once you think you made it, it's time to reinvent yourself. And so it's true with me. Your Vaughn Dionys style of continuous lighting, glamorizing the bride, I did that, and then I had to evolve and learn to create my light. Reactive, proactive, right? A new style, creating dramatic light. And so you can look at me. These are the things that I had to do. First, in 1988, I dropped out of college. It's a long time ago. See, I did go to 7 years of college. I'm college educated, but I just dropped out. Okay. Then I was a graphic designer and had a screen printing business for 10 years, only earning $10,000 a year. From that, I started to do wedding photography. Then I had to change. I had to learn these different skills for doing that up to 10 years. And then I changed again after 10 years. I realized that I really was, although I could do weddings, I realized I was really a portrait artist. I had to confront myself with that. Say that, yes, you know what? That's what I am. And then becoming a master at Flash. And then on top of that, I had to make a decision in my life. Do I want to be a world-class photographer, or do I want to be a world-class educator? Because I could not do both. Because I am so committed to excellence that I have to go all into one to be. That's why I think, my image is okay, it's not great. It's because I haven't been able to 100% put my time into doing it. But what I love doing is educating. That is my passion. That is what I love. I am a student of human development, and I love it. And I realized I had to give this up to do this, and it was going to cost me at least $80,000 to switch. But heck, I've been used to living on $10,000 before, so why not? Every time you reinvent yourself, you're going to have to leave some sort of security behind. And that's the hardest part. And once you learn how to leave those things behind, you can get to the next level. Maybe you're stuck at that next level because you're still holding something, some kind of security blanket. I have a 7-year-old, and she loves her little blankie. And the little tag that's on the blankie, ever since we got her, it's from 10 months, she's had this blankie, and she can't go to sleep without it. She can't let go of it. We have things in our life like that will hold us back from us getting to that next level. So we have to learn how to let those things go. Sometimes it could be the love of our parents or something very significant, but we have to let it go. 8. Create rave. What is rave? Let me ask you that. When I ask you, and don't go on your iPads or anything, what's the definition of rave to you? Crazy what?
Crazy party.
Crazy party. Okay. Well, I'm not talking about that kind of rave. Rave about you. Yes.
Like an endorsement, like a really
Endorsement. Okay. Any other suggestions? Well, this is what the definition says. To speak or write with wild enthusiasm. Let me ask you right now. When people go to your website and look at your work, read your story or whatever, do they say, wow, I'm going to talk about this person with wild enthusiasm? If we don't, we're falling short and we're getting zero rave. No one's talking about us. So what has rave? Now you think about all the things that have rave, right? What's the in thing, right? What are some things that are really hot right now? We could talk about creative life, right? It's something that, whoa, man, it's an expansion on learning, right? It was innovative. It did something innovative. It has style. And that's what I'm so impressed when I came here, is that everybody is committed to excellence, on producing excellence, and the lighting, and the camera people, and everything is like, whoa, they've got, I came on that set, and I'm like, man, that is awesome. Function, right? It has definite function, of course, learning, right? It fits a need. It creates a need, right? It's a status symbol. You ask any educator in photography and you ask them where they want to speak. I'll tell you right now, they're going to say, I want to get on Creative Live. It took me 3 freaking years. I mean, how long has Creative Live been around? 3 years, right? I've been trying to get on for 3 years. But who knows about Scott Robert? Like, everybody used to say, Scott, you need to be on Creative Live. Yeah, that's true, but they don't even know about me. Why don't you write them and tell them about me? Finally got on. Took me 3 years, but I got here, right? So, how do you create rave? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. No one raves about a mediocre restaurant. Do you ever go to a restaurant that's okay and go, oh man, hey, Neil, you got to go to this restaurant. The food was okay. The service, it was completely average. The atmosphere, it was okay. You need to go to it. You ever say that? There has to be a component of excellence when you want rave. That's why I'm pushing you so hard. That's why I gave you the final exam. Because I need you to achieve excellence. You have to achieve excellence. You have to run to that. So why is the rave the best way to gain market position? If you want to get known and somebody to know about you, why should it be through rave? Well, one, it's free advertisement. I look at some of the best photographers in the world, and I analyze that all of them never worry about advertising. People just hire them. I never advertised at all. I just got jobs. And that's how the way it works. Is that when you're good, people talk about you. And you know it. 2, all you need are a handful of key fanatics about you. And they can single-handedly create a successful business. And I look back at my career, and that's so true. There was a couple people that helped me with my career. One was 2 catering managers. One was at the Hotel Bel Air. Have you ever heard of the Hotel Bel Air in Los Angeles? It's a 5-star hotel, and a lot of movie stars get married there and so forth. But I had one catering manager there that said, Scott, we're going to give you a chance and we're going to put you on the preferred vendor list. That helped me get through the rough times when I couldn't book any jobs myself. They were feeding me jobs so I could stay alive, so I could feed my family. And then I look back on my career, I look at there's a few key things that happened to me to get to my national level in regards to wedding photography. There used to be this blog called The Wedding Bee. Is anybody familiar with that? Actually, a lot of Asian brides kind of went on that, but all brides of different, but it was national. And so all these brides would go on this blog, because blogging was big at that time, and talk about their wedding, and of course, what photographer that they hired. And I so happened to have one of the writers hire me as a photographer. And then I had another writer hire me as a photographer. And then one more hired me as a photographer. And every other freaking day they were talking about Scott Robert this, Scott Robert that, Scott Robert. And then there was a big explosion about Scott Robert, negative publicity. It was, you guys talk about Scott Robert so much. Is he paying you guys? Man, he's like $8,000, and most of us can't afford him, and you're just rubbing it in our face all the time. So there's those huge comments about they actually had to take that post down and everything, right? But that's what happened, just a few people. And then from that, because I think literally like, 50,000 people a day or whatever were coming to this blog, everybody in the country knew about me. But it only came from 3 key fanatics. So I just told you a story about me wanting and dreaming to be on Creative Live, right? Guess who's responsible for that? There's one person, Arlene Evans. She fought for me, and she recommended me. That's why I'm here, living my dream. So there's just a few people that you need to take you to that next level. You want them to rave about you, and they will take you places that you never would have thought you could go. But you have to produce excellence first. You just can't meet these people and then be successful. You need to meet these influential people, and you got to have the goods to back it up. So you got to be ready. Maybe if I would have came on 3 years ago, I would have flopped. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, 3 years from then, I am a lot better educator than I was back then. Everything has a time and a place, but guess what, man? You better be freaking ready. That's why we need to go practice every single day, because you never know when that key moment is going to come. And you're going to have to step through that door, and you're going to have to knock it out of the park. Because sometimes we only get one chance. Right? That's the whole thing about Jeremy Lin. Remember Linsanity back then, right? Same type of thing. Key to branding any business is to produce unique quality and have a sincere passion about it. Why is passion necessary? We always talk about that. Oh, you got to be passionate about your work. Why? Anybody know? Well, passion, what it does is it keeps your dream alive when the rewards are great. And there are going to be many times when we're doing that. Can we get a raise of hands if we're feeling like we're going through that right now? Right? And if you're not passionate about it, you're going to give up. I guarantee you. I see it all the time. You guys, people come in, I think I'm going to try wedding photography, blah, blah, blah. They go to my workshops 1 or 2 years. Things get tough. The corporate money runs out. It's real time to earn money with their photography, and they can't do it. Or they can't live on that little income because they simply just don't have enough passion. Keep the dream alive. Be passionate about it. Passion breeds innovation. When you're passionate about manual flash, you all of a sudden come up with a flashcard. Because you know it so well, better than anybody else, that you can innovate and bring something to the table. You want to get up here on this stage? Is that your dream? Is it one day stand here and to be able to influence and teach thousands of people? you better innovate on something. You better bring something to the table. They're not going to hire you and say, hey, come up here. You look pretty good. Why don't you go teach on creative life? Oh, you're awesome. I'm going to hire you for a $20,000 wedding in Paris. If you're going to get to that point, you're going to be able to do what you need to do, and you're going to have to innovate and bring something to the industry. And so all the famous photographers that I know did that. Whether it was a bag, whether it was a blog, whether it was a video light, whether it was a tiny trigger, I don't know. It's something. Extraordinary is the only path to rave. You've got to be an extraordinary. And I love this book, The Purple Cow, because it talks about creating a purple cow. Okay? And the purple cow is what? They say if you want to make it in this business, go narrow and focus on something that is small. Don't try to be everything to everybody. I took this to heart. And you know what I did? I said to myself, I'm going to learn manual flash, and I'm going to be the best at it in the world. I'm going to know it inside out. I'm going to know it so well that I could manufacture my own equipment so I could show people how to do this. I went narrow. And so people ask me a lot. Oh, Scott, can you do a lecture on posing? Nope. I only do flash. I don't do lighting. Can you do something on business? Can you do? No. If I'm going to speak in front of people, I'm only doing manual flash, and that's all I did, because I wanted to be known for that one thing. I wanted to be said, the manual flash guy, that's Scott Robert. Or you can call me Robert too. I don't care. Whatever. Narrow, because I read that book. It's a $10 book. And it told me that. Okay. 9. We're almost there, folks. Hang in there. How are we doing on time, by the way? We're good?
Well, we're fine.
Okay. Learn to take risks. Okay? Why is risk so important to success? Why is risk? Why do we need to take... Oh, you got to take risks in your life. Why? Why do I have to take risks? I like it here in my comfy bed. Why? Anybody know? Well, the more we risk, the more we grow. Kenna took a risk today. She tried something that she was very uncomfortable with, and in front of thousands of people. You guys all took risks today. But didn't you realize when you took that risk that you had phenomenal growth? The more you risk, the more you're going to grow. It's not about being successful. It's about growing. You've got to grow. Learn. And sometimes the only way you're going to learn is by taking risks. Success is an accumulation of secret knowledge. Really. If it wasn't secret, everybody would be successful. Isn't that true? So there's this hidden knowledge out there that if we grab these little nuggets, we can be successful. But we're only going to get to them if we grow and if we learn these things. And sometimes the only way we're going to learn these things is if we risk something. And that's what I do continually. Experimentation helps you gain valuable information others can't obtain. Why? And the reason why is because their fear of risk. But no, not you, not the person who pursues excellence. The person who pursues excellence will risk it despite the fear, because we want to learn, we need to grow. Success is a series of attempts and adjustments. Try, fail, adjust, try, fail, adjust. And you do that over a long period of time. And maybe it might even take you 32 years to get there, but you're not going to give up. Failure is a process, not a birthmark. Don't look at failure as something that scars us, but it's something that is just a process in order for us to be better. If you fail a lot, to get to extraordinary, right? You got to fail a lot. And let me tell you, anybody know the story of Colonel Sanders? Colonel Sanders one day got his retirement check and it said $99. He goes, oh my gosh, I cannot live off of $99. I need to do something so I can earn some extra money. And so what he did, he had grandma's favorite fried chicken recipe that he thought was very good. So he had this idea. He didn't have any money. He goes, you know what? I don't have any money to start a big old restaurant. What I'll do is I'll give this recipe to restaurants, and they'll just give me a nickel every time they cook a piece of fried chicken. So he went door to door, knocking business. Hey, you want grandma's recipe? You could just give me a nickel for it. Slam the door shut. No, fail. He went to another door, fail. He went to another door, fail. He went to another door, fail. He went to, how many doors do you think he went to before he got his first person to say yes? Anybody know? 1,000. Oops, sorry. 1,000 people. 1,000. You know what I would have done? After 20, I would have said, you know what? I don't think grandma's recipe is that good. But no. You got to be tenacious and you got to believe. Believe in what you want to be, not what you are now. You get that? Believe that you are what you want to be. You are what you are now, because life will take over and it will crush you. It will take away your dream if you don't think that. So you have to think of it in that way. And the 10th way, the final, this is the number one way to make it, is you need to find a mentor. Why? It's because a mentor hands down and you inherit a legacy of success. That's why. And one time I was watching this movie called The Final Season. It was really intriguing to me. As you know, I like watching a lot of movies, right? And it's a true story. There was 500 people in this town. And in this town, there was 100 high school students. And from this, there was 14 players, baseball players. And from that, they won 19 Iowa State championships from this one little school. And I saw that movie and I go, that's it! That's what a mentor does. I go, well, how did that happen? They don't have very many resources to choose from. Obviously, they didn't have the best players in the country because the population is so small. How did they do it? They had a formula of success, and they handed it down from one generation to the next generation. And they had a secret formula and won 19 Iowa State champions. That's what a mentor does for you. Like I told you before, a mentor goes and he tries something and he figures it out, and it maybe takes him 10 years to figure that out. But he tells you how to do it in 15 minutes. How much time have you just gained? I don't care how much money you spent on a good mentor, it will pay for itself. Moreover, because that mentor will tell you things that he's worked on, secrets, little nuggets to get you successful. Not only that, that person is probably influential and can let you in the door to some very influential people if they believe in you and if they think that you're great. A mentor is really the fastest way, and I can see that. I could see all those people that I've mentored, and they've got phenomenal fest, and a lot of them are just like amazing and better than me and doing great. And it's just the fastest way. Oprah Winfrey says this about mentoring. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. A mentor is someone who allows you to know that no matter how dark the night, the morning joy will come. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the higher part of yourself when sometimes it becomes hidden to your own view. Nobody makes it alone. Nobody has made it alone. And you look at all these famous mentoring pairings, and this has to do with passing of the success, right? Here they are. All of them, famous people. But guess what my favorite is? Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan. That's when you think about a mentor, that's what you need in your life. I wish I had that. That's why I like being a mentor, because I wish it, because maybe it wouldn't have took me 32 years to get here. So if you can find one, that's great. So my mentoring philosophy is this. There's a 7-step philosophy that, one, you have to observe a person at world-class level. You have to see the way he acts. You have to see the way he disciplines himself. You have to see the way he socializes, all that kind of stuff, and learn from that. Then you have to develop technically. And you have to make sure that technical development is true. You go back to the mentor and say, am I doing this right? Am I getting this lighting right? Am I getting this posing right? You go back and forth, and then you nail that. You know that like the back of your hand, and you repeat it over and over. Because why? Then you can get to the experimentation part, developing your own signature style. And then after that, you need self-evaluation, and you're going to see if that's going to work for you, if it fits your passion, if it fits everything, going back and forth with the mentor, but then you're continuously learning on top of that, and it's a 7-step cycle. And that's how people make it. And that's why a mentor is so key with that. So if you want to do the impossible, you have to learn from those who did it. So if you're looking for somebody, you have to say, well, what have they achieved? How far have they gone? And if that person has done that, then they can give you clues on how to do it. But if they haven't done it, they can't teach you that part. So this is the final aspect of it. So just I'm sorry, maybe going over time or whatever. But people ask me all the time, do I mentor and who would I mentor? And I do mentor. My schedule is so busy. But the way I mentor is I mentor especially those people who come to my international workshops because usually the crowd is a lot smaller, say 12 people or so. And also during that time, I can take them away from their normal surroundings and I can make them think about life 24/7 for a whole week. And we can really get close to each other and they're in the community. And that way, I know that they have made a sacrifice. See, if I want to mentor somebody, I need to see somebody if they're willing to sacrifice. If they're not willing to sacrifice, I know they'll never make it anyways. So I need to see that sacrifice. How much sacrifice does it take, and are you willing to do it? And those are the people that I love mentoring. Okay, so let's review the 10 steps again. Choose education over equipment. Choose remarkable over good. Know how to find dramatic light. Learn how to create dramatic light. Create glamorous, fashion-forward images. Create a grand vision for your life. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. Create rave. Learn to take risks. And 1, find a mentor. I really want to thank you for allowing me to share with you and just to be a part of this community. I just feel so wonderful and great. And I'm extremely blessed being here, and so I hope I was able to, in some way, in a small way, help your life to be a little bit better and to maybe give you a tiny bit of hope. And I just want to wish you from the very bottom of my heart all the success in the world. And I wish that you do have that dream and that one day that you can accomplish it. And don't let go of it. Definitely don't let go of it. And just keep hanging in there.